Okay, spirit guides, universe and angels, please stand beside me and guide me for Libra's highest good. How is Libra feeling in this final week of May 2025 with regards to when they're thinking about dealing with or manifesting in? I tell you what, it's not the final week of May, I'm doing it for the first week of June. How is Libra feeling in the first week of June? So the week ahead, 3 cards for Libra, please. Okay, so we've got a combination of the 6 of Cups and the 7 of Cups. The 6 of Cups is upright and the 7 of Cups is reversed. The 6 of Cups is a soulmate connection. Okay, that's, I want each cup to accrue each year that we're together, and you know, I'm going to hold this person in high regard, as if they're my family. Okay, that's what the 6 of Cups card is about. It's a really nostalgic, lovely energy. The 7 of Cups is being at a crossroads. It's like, I don't know which cup to go for. In each cup there's different things. Some of them have good things, some of them have bad. It's when you're at a crossroads, yeah? And generally you see that when someone's like about to come out of a relationship or walk away from a relationship, that's reversed. So I think there's only one person on your mind and no one else is going to do. That's what I feel like. I've never had that combination before. That's really interesting. Two more for how Libra's feeling, please. Okay, so interesting, because we got the King of Swords reversed. Now, it would be more usual for an air sign such as yourself to get the King of Swords upright. And I was just thinking to myself, the 7 of Cups, when it's reversed, is not just daydreaming, it's crossing over into delusion. And, you know, the fantasy is being in a soulmate union, like perfect union once again. And then we've got this logical energy flipped on its head. So I think rather than being logical, you're almost being illogical, like you're more emotional, okay? Because the King of Swords intellectualizes things. He's strategic, he's, you know, uses knowledge, facts, science, strategy. Everything is premeditated and planned, and it's about truth and honour. But I just feel like we're not really about that at the moment. We're in like fantasy lands, you know, daydreaming, loved up, the opposite of your natural state. Okay, as an air sign, you are swords, you are, you know, factual, intellectual, analytical. We're anything but at the moment. We're completely irrational, we're over emotional, we're fantasizing. you get the picture. Okay, so your next 2 cards are the Setting Sun and the 4 of Wands reversed. haven't had this combination before either, because the setting sun is particular to this deck, this Solar Kingdom deck. There's a lot of cards to do with the sun and cards to do with the moon added into it. It's a really big deck. So the setting sun is about a happy period of your life. It doesn't have to be a super long period, but it can be like weeks or months. And it's like, you know, you've been really enjoying yourself, or like, I'm trying to think how to explain it. You know, like in the morning you have the sun rising, and then at the highest point in the day, that's lunchtime, and then it moves around and it starts to set. So, you know, that's your period of joy, happiness, being carefree. That's coming to an end, and the Four of Wands is reversed. Now, the Four of Wands, when it's upright, is stability. It's serenity. It's stability within a home, within a living situation. You know, partners in union, cohabiting, getting on a mortgage, getting married. That's reversed, okay? So you could be ending a mortgage, ending a marriage, ending home ownership that's joint. Something is closing out, or you're headed for a general period of, you know, less relaxation, a bit more having to deal with the tough stuff. There's a lack of stability. There's a sense of like upheaval might be on its way, which is not like the nicest message to deliver, but you can't be, if everything was just stuck all the time, that you'd never make progress. So it's necessary to have these short periods of discomfort, because that, you know, that's what changes. But it gets you onto the next stepping stone, or the next level, or the place that you want to be. Okay, so we can't have everything at standstill all the time. You know, sometimes it's a relief, isn't it, to have a little breather. Like, I've got a week off at the moment, but if everything stayed the same, I'd never get a full-time job and never get a house. I'm going to have to do an interview. I'm going to have to do some things that are not comfortable to get to where I want to be next. Can't just sit around. Okay, and that would be boring as well. When you try, you get the sense of achievement, don't you? Okay, so let's get 3 cards for how they're feeling then. I don't know why I seem to be like not showing you as much of the table as I would like. Oops. Hopefully you can see the whole spread now. I've gone a bit higher. Right, so let's see who's showing up. The one that's on your mind, the one that you're dealing with, thinking about, or manifesting in. How are they feeling? Now, you are showing up as a court card, but you're showing up as a court card reversed. The Ten of Wands, someone that's on your mind, or that you're thinking about or dealing with, they're at the end of a really challenging period of time. Because 10 is the end of a cycle. The numbers run from 2 through to 10. Aces are 1s, the Fool is 0. So we're at the end of a cycle, the fact that we're at 10, and it's been a tough one, because each wand represents a challenge. And it's not reversed, that would be us dropping the burdens, or whoever this is. They're keeping on going. You know, this person's very stoic, they're very, very strong, like, but what a tough period of time. So wands are fire energy, so they could be a fire sign, but let's see what else we get. 2 more cards for this person, the one that's showing up in Libra's reading piece. The Death card, okay, Major Arcana for Scorpio. Now it flew out at an angle, but it was mostly upright, so that is literally the closing out of a chapter. It's walking through the gates. The Fool walks through the gates, okay, and leaves the last chapter behind him. How poetic is that? So they could be a Scorpio or have that in their chart. They don't have to be. Oh my God, look at this. The Queen of Swords reversed. This is an ex-spouse, guys. This is an ex-spouse. It's an ex-partner, ex-marital partner, or ex-living dynamic partner, like. Wow, we've literally got the King and the Queen of Swords, both reversed. Maybe I've read that wrong then, that's Six of Cups with the Seven of Cups reversed. You're fantasising about, well, maybe you're fantasising about the next soulmate, you know. Or you're fantasising about being with someone other than this soulmate, okay? Because soulmates are, for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. They don't have to, you know, go to the grave with us. Most of the times they're not supposed to. We're all changing, growing all the time. So, whatever this was, it's run its course. There was a lot of, you know, years put in there. This would be someone that you were in a marriage or a living dynamic with, because you literally are both, you know, matching suits with the King and the Queen. And kings and queens have lots of responsibility. They're homeowners, they have high-powered jobs, they have children, a lot of responsibilities to take care of. You know, kings and queens they're not gallivanting around. They're well aware of their responsibilities. Okay, they can't be running around being like a Knight of Wands or airy-fairy like a Knight of Cups. They've got to be realistic. They can't be the Fool. They've got to, you know, sit still and deal with reality, deal with the day-to-day responsibilities. That's really interesting. Literally all the cards are saying we're closing out a cycle. Now, the King and Queen of Swords, when they're reversed, are manipulative. They're trying to play things to their own advantage. Okay, so you can be strategic when you're upright and you're just planning and thinking ahead and being logical and, you know, taking, you know, the necessary steps. But when it's reversed, that could be someone who's using that intelligence and that sort of slyness for their own advantage, like for their own personal gain. And that you're both in that energy. So I don't know if in the week ahead there's going to be arguments, or you've got some important legal matters being dealt with, you know, meetings to go to with regards to closing out a cycle with someone where there's lots of official paperwork, like mortgages, like bank accounts, like savings, like, you know, assets, division of assets. It could be a week of because I didn't want to say it earlier, but the Four of Wands represents marriage and the four walls of a house as well. So it's, you know, the setting sun, it's like we're closing out that chapter. We've got the Death card, the Ten of Wands. We've got matching suits, but both in the reverse, like holding up a sword, like, don't come near me, or chop your head off. Right, let's get 3 cards for the outcome. So it could be an important week the next week with regards to legal matters. The Eight of Pentacles reversed, so we're no longer investing, you know, when this is upright, we're producing pentacles and we're sort of building up. There's 7 pentacles and we're adding an 8th pentacle. 8 is like growth, expansion, the future. You know, pentacles are investments of time, money and energy. So this person's working away, you know, or rabbit, hair, whatever it is. They're working away, they're like grafting, trying to build a future. You know, the next one will be the 9 of Pentacles and the next will be the 10 of Pentacles. We're not doing that anymore, okay? So there could be, you know, money going out. Sorry, that needs to go at the bottom, doesn't it? Money going out to pay for various things, I don't know. Contributions. Now we've got a Queen of Wands reversed. Now, why have we got a Queen of Wands in the picture? A Queen of Wands is a third party, okay? And the Queen of Wands is fire energy. The Queen of Wands is full of vitality. You see the sunflowers, the sun, the wand. This person creates their own look, okay? They're fire, they're energetic, self-motivated, highly driven, upbeat, you know, go, 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 like unrelenting. This person is goal-orientated, okay? They're very career-focused, very confident, solar plexus activated, self-assured, sexy. When they're reversed, it could be a lusty energy, like a seductive energy, like a third party. Doesn't have to be Sagittarius energy, but there could be a third person involved in this equation. Even if you technically separated, one of you could be, you know, realistically dating again or having a flirtation, even if it's just keeping it light. But this person, being a queen, they could also have responsibilities, a good job. You know, just because you're sleeping with someone doesn't mean they're a complete fool and an idiot. Like, you know, they could be a fairly good option or a really good option. You can't assume that the third person in every situation is just a bozo or a bimbo. Like, they're not, are they? They're like, they could be a serious contender for a future relationship. Okay, so we've got the Temperance. This is another Sagittarius card, okay? It's the major arcana for Sagittarius. Now, the Temperance upright is someone that's managing to balance their emotions, okay? They're pouring water from one cup to the other, trying to get just the right balance. So managing fear, managing anger, managing sadness. When it's reversed, that's difficult, okay? So someone could be getting a bit antsy and a bit fed up with this situation, this third party situation. Or frustrated with communication, if communication is frosty or difficult, if it's not an amicable divorce or separation. This person could really be feeling that. Or they may do something to exacerbate, I don't know. So let's find out a little bit more. Let's get the shadow love. So we know that it's your ex on this side. Now, why have they got the 10 of Wands? Why does this feel like it's not all of the cards? That feels too thin. I don't know. Empty. The truth is that you simply don't feel fulfilled. It's worth the wait to find true happiness. Okay, so this person is they're so over like the feeling that they carry with them. It's they they've had to be really, truly, extremely resilient to cope with how heavy this is. They're about to close this out though, so when we close it out, they've seen it through to the end. You know, like when you think how many people crack up under the pressure of a separation or a divorce, it is like really, really tough, really emotional. If you've got kids, they don't live with you anymore. It breaks people's hearts, it breaks their psyche. It's really tough. Some people never get over it, you know, and they become vengeful or, you know, do things to harm themselves, try to harm the other person for not allowing this family situation anymore. We're talking about big stuff here, do you know what I mean? So the fact that they're finally at the end of the cycle, that's good. That's a good thing. And then we've got the death card, so they're gonna actively walk through the gates, which is what needs to happen. Now it's taken them a bit longer because if you look at where their Queen of Swords card is, it's further down the timeline. On your side, that happened earlier. So they're having to catch up with kind of like you're a bit further ahead in your healing. You may have instigated the separation. Okay. Fierce temper. Has too many anger issues and dark moods. Abusive. They could have a really big temper, this person. You could really struggle with their anger. And look at the bottom, we had the temperance reversed. They're not going to go quietly. They're going to go kicking and screaming and having a go. Saying all sorts, you know, lashing out, throwing things, potentially. So I mean, if you didn't choose separation, if you didn't choose divorce, like, you know, you can't be expected to, you know, you can accept it eventually, but you don't have to like it. You know, and it's really hard for people to accept it when they didn't choose that. So, you know, changing someone's future, changing their present. I can't help but empathise because I've been there. I've been on both sides of it. So they're showing up as a feminine energy and you're showing up as masculine energy. Okay, so again, that kind of confirms that you instigated the divorce or separation proceedings. Okay. Boundless spirit. Your only limits are the ones you put on yourself. Okay, so they could have really struggled with coming to terms with this. Fated revelation. Uncover the omens, decipher their meaning, and embrace your destined path. See, this person, you know, they haven't got to a point where they know where they're going next, and that's scary. You know, that's like another reason to hold on to the past, because you don't know where you're going. You know, forwards into, you just kind of stop moving, you know, and we've all done that. Guilty as charged. Ooh, destroyed, shattered, broken, completely ruined. My God. They deserve a break, this person, don't they? You can understand it. What was the nature of this connection, please? Love your shadow, accept and work with the flaws in yourself so you can learn to accept others as they are. it's forcing this person to work on their shadow self, okay? So the things that are dark within them. They were supposed to experience divorce. They were supposed to experience separation. This was fated. True love, this is the romance of a lifetime. True and lasting love is here for you. So they were in love, okay? Once upon a time they were in love. They could still be in love. And that's why it's really taking its toll on them. Free yourself. You don't need to be in control of everything for a love relationship to be successful. They could have control issues. You are enough. The person you are meant to be with will love you the way you are. You don't need to change. Okay, so the soul connection, it was a soul connection. So we've got the Six of Cups. You're both showing up as a matching suit. We have the Four of Wands. Clearly a very, like, what's the word? A strong connection, you know, a meaningful one that's run its course, but a lot's happened, and it could be many years that you've been together. It was supposed to happen, and now it's supposed to end, okay? And there's going to be an ascension as you both grow and move on. Let's get messages from them. Oof, do you even care? Feel like even now this person would still take you back, you know. Let me hold you. 7 is the number of reflection. Do you even care? Please give me time. I've never felt this way before. Like, it's very difficult for this person to let go. If you turn around and said, I've changed my mind, they'd be very happy with that. You two are married. Union, wedding, married, soul connection, eternal love, everlasting promise. They thought it was going to be forever. They could be a very traditional person. I know everyone expects it to be forever, and of course everyone wants that, but, you know, if you think about how many years people are together before they divorce, it's, you know, that is very admirable. I've never made it past 3.5 years in a relationship. Never mind being married for several years or having children or having property together. You know, it is a success, isn't it? Even though it expires, it's a contract that happened and functioned for a really long time. But there's no more growth that can happen. It would stifle us to stay in it. Okay. Because Libra wants out, when is Libra going to meet someone new? September. So like early autumn, end of summer, early autumn, September time. Things could, you know, there could be more breathing space. You could have some sort of progression or meet someone new, or if you're involved with someone like a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, or maybe that's just the vibe, you know, it's like competitive, angry, you know, overly like passionate, frustrated. Maybe that's just the vibe kind of in the outcome of this ex, but it could be someone that you've already started, there's a bit of a crossover, or you're separated but technically still married. Maybe you're living together, maybe you're not, but you could be already dating someone new, because I do feel like you're a bit further along in the timeline than your person. They're still trying to wrap their head around it, your ex-person, sorry. Let's get advice. Cultivate stillness. Okay, so emotions could be running high in the week ahead. You could be having to have difficult conversations, mediation, sit down with solicitors. I don't know. There could be important stuff happening, or some sort of altercation or accidental bumping into. I don't know. It seems like, it's a special time of year, when it's someone's birthday or it's an anniversary. It kind of raises emotions, doesn't it, and inflames the situation, where we would have periods where it's not too bad and the dust is settling. Something like that can really make us emotional. So you might just have to hold on to your hollyhocks. Oh my god, more anger, look. That's freaky, isn't it? Anger is a natural emotion, but I recognise that holding on to it can be toxic for me. I look at the person who has caused me pain and see them as the human being that they are. I release the anger I feel and freeing myself and expanding to love. That Queen of Wands, when she's reversed, passion spills over into anger. So this could be someone who's being competitive, confrontational. They could be lusty, they could be, tempestuous, and then we've got the Temperance reverse, so not managing emotions well at all. Next week, and then but it's going to settle down by September. It's going to be a bit rocky for a while. And to be fair, it'd be weird, if everyone's just robotic. That would be odd. Of course there's emotions involved, it's unlikely that anyone would just robotically divorce or separate, and that would just be inhuman, wouldn't it? That wouldn't be normal. So we've just got to accept that, really. It's par for the course. You can't really get around it. It shows that people care, by the fact that they're upset or angry. It shows that real emotion was involved, that it was done with true intent, and the intention was to be together forever. And they're finding it difficult. They're genuinely finding it difficult. But if someone was just not ours, that's kind of more offensive to me. Self-transformation. Embrace self-transformation as a journey of evolution and growth. There we go. So there's a beautiful butterfly eating away at its cocoon. Okay, getting all the nutrients and kind of using that, transmuting it into, something different going forwards. Flow of life. Go with the flow of life, feeling the natural rhythm in its smoothness. Yes, we can't control what's happening around us, but we can, just let it kind of wash over us. And I used to listen to Budify, which is a meditation app, and it used to say that your feelings are like the weather, it doesn't last forever. inevitably, like, the anger will dissipate, the storm will move on. I mean, storms can get trapped and circle around, the house a few times, but it has to stop eventually. The storm wears itself out, the energy is changed, and things grow still again. So we've just got to wait it out, okay? It will change. Spiritual journey. Explore the deep connections within the universe on your spiritual journey. Okay, so know that this is supposed to happen. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. Don't doubt yourself and think, I've caused this mess. I've made mistakes. That's negative self-talk. In reality, it is what it is. You've given it 110%. I'm quite sure that if you thought you could make it work, Libra, you would, you've probably exhausted all options, and it just is what it is, and the other person doesn't have to like it, but we don't like it either. No one likes upsetting anyone. You're not, a sadist or like a narcissist. You're just being honest, aren't you? You're being honest. It's not where your heart lies anymore. Body wisdom. Listen to your body's wisdom to understand and care for your needs. Okay, so your body might have some aches and pains, tightness. You might be waking up really early or struggling to get off to sleep. Your blood pressure could be higher. Try to listen to your body. Okay, lie on the bed and, for a few minutes before you go to sleep, just do like a body scan. This is another thing that's on Bodify. You do a body scan, so think about your toes, think about your ankles, your calves, your knees. Think about each part of your body, moving up through your pelvis, your abdomen, your chest, your shoulders, your neck, your head. Wiggle your fingers, your hands, like try to actively unclench wherever you're tense, because we hold a lot of stress and tension and we're not really consciously doing it. It's like a subconscious thing. So you may just find this like a tough period, and you're probably so used to it that you just think, oh, whatever, I'm used to it. But actively try to do things to force yourself to relax, okay, and cope through this time. It will pass. Spiritual purification. Purify your spirit to clear inner impurities and achieve clarity. I'm just struggling to read the text because it's really, really thin and it's on a dark background. Not helpful. There's a lot here, isn't there, about letting anger go, letting go of any resentments, being forgiving, being tolerant of others and how they cope or aren't coping with things, trying to actively like find stillness. I think September you'll have a bit more space and a bit more freedom to sort of breathe and, foster something new with another person, even if it's just early days. But you could feel a bit, the way this person's shackled, they feel like really trapped and stuck, like they're in prison. So might just have to deal with that over the next few months. Let's get you some angel numbers and then I'll get you some crystals. Can I have an angel number, please, for Libra? Right, your spirit's picked out a few. One, 3, 1, 3. Starting fresh. Well, that's poignant. Encouragement, goals, foundations, create adventures, communication. Step out of your comfort zone. You're about to create something meaningful. All your skills and talents will bring you auspicious profits. Build up your confidence and trust in your decisions. 0707, compromise. Self-awareness, forgiveness, professionalism, empathy, tenacity and freedom. Oh my God, this is perfect. This is perfect, isn't it? Let go of what no longer serves you. Stop holding on to grudges. Express your emotions and aim towards a compromise. Where there's a lack of understanding, it's best to just move on. The truth will set you free. 0404, slow down. Balance, power struggle, force, violence, hope, authority, ancestors, restlessness, low vibrations, and a warning. 4 is a number of stability. Pay close attention to the people in your life, your surroundings, and your physical health. Don't freak out. It's just a warning to be careful and awake to avoid any further issues. Communicate clearly and keep healthy boundaries. 1001, spiritual awakening, new beginnings, personal development, prioritizing creativity, and heading in the right direction. A new phase in a religious or spiritual quest. You're going through a spiritual awakening, which can feel like a dark night of the soul. You're on the path to enlightenment, and this too shall pass. 0550, the eye candy. Intuition, inspired action, beauty, art, socialising, flow, potential, and romance. Get some fresh air or call some of your pals over. Take a look around you. There's so much natural beauty waiting to be discovered. Either you will soon become involved in an exciting new project, or you will go out on a date. Put your charisma to use everywhere. Spread your charm around. I mean, that is what a Libra is usually like, a social butterfly. The life and soul of the party, charismatic, confident, good looking, easy to have a conversation with. So, don't lose sight of who you are and who you've always been, okay? That's really nice. Got loads of advice there. Let's pull you a crystal. That's annoying me, I keep saying that. Something for Libra, please, in this time. Right, you've got about 4. Yep, 4. God, I can't see on these black cards. Amethyst. That's for your crown. Okay, amethyst. Moonstone. That's for your sacral chakra. Okay, orange. Moonstone, amethyst. Fluorite, that's for your crown as well. There's a lot. Whenever it's your crown chakra, it's about being trusting in the divine, trusting in the wider process, going through ascension, spiritual enlightenment, doing shadow work. And you've got sacral chakra again. So that's about your sexuality, your vitality, your natural kind of charisma, creativity, Think about what that card said about starting fresh and going out or inviting people round and, meeting new and just being you, being your true self. Venus. Okay, so let's I can find fluorite, amethyst and moonstone in this other crystal deck. I won't be able to find Venus, but I can tell you what Venus means, because I've got a planets deck as well. Well, Venus is ruled by the goddess of love and beauty, so, you know, it talked about romance and going on a date, didn't it? Why have I just shuffled them instead of looking? What an idiot. It's just force of habit. Hang on. So I'm looking for fluorite. Moonstone and amethyst. That's sunstone, didn't know we had that. There's moonstone. And then we want amethyst and fluorite, don't we? Oops. There's fluorite. And amethyst, there we go. I'll just get that card off the floor because it's annoying me. Okay, so moonstone, that's true to likeness, that picture. This text is size 2, so just bear with me. Right, what is it? A shimmering protective talisman for travellers since way back. Moonstone is a dreamy white to peach hued feldspar mineral for gazers of sky and soul. Who needs it? All you earth goddesses out there and the people you keep around you who need to work on their empathy, patience and intuition. Oh my God. We had like the anger cards, didn't we? And shattered, broken, completely ruined. Empty. The fierce temper card for them. For your person, the one that you're leaving behind. Oh my God. That fits so well, that's freaky. And the people you keep around who need to work on their empathy, patience and intuition. Where to put it? On your bedside table, in your overnight bag with your passport and eye mask. When to use it? Under a new moon. Use it to set intentions that align with your purest, life-affirming, inner child nurturing calling. Under a full moon. Moonstone belongs in the bedroom or wherever you get down. I wasn't expecting that. Fluorite. Okay, so it's that green with kind of bits of purple and orange. Let's have a look. Fluorite can range from pale green to deep purple. Often it's both at the same time. It occurs all over the place, and it's a good to vibe with when you were all over the place. They're perpetually distracted, anyone with a vision worth sticking to. So it'll help you to focus, okay? Whenever you find yourself constantly tempted to check your phone, that's whenever you have Wi-Fi access. When to use it, when you want to take an uninterrupted 20 minutes to meditate, an hour to finish a book, or a lifetime to concentrate on your unique calling here on earth. Okay, so that's what fluorite is for, to help you to focus. Find your calm. That's freaky because you had a cultivate stillness, didn't you? Right, amethyst. Amethyst is lilac to dark purple, semi-precious gemstone from the quartz family. The ancient Romans believed amethyst got its lush purple colour when the god Bacchus spilled wine on a clear stone. Oh, that's a nice story, isn't it? Today, amethyst is believed to assist in connecting with the big guy in the sky. Oh my god, that's weird. Oh my god, it's so freaky. Because, look, it's all about the crown chakra. But you had another one that was the crown, look. The fluorite one as well. Oh, that's freaky, guys. Like, these crystals are such a good addition to a tarot reading. Who needs it? Train wrecks who go off the rails on the wet and wild route to Bacchanalia or any Pisces. Where to put it? The interior decorator's little purple secret. Amethyst can uplift the vibe of any living space. When to use it? When it's time to give up the victim routine and start living with purpose. Hold on tight to amethyst. Get drunk on your higher self. I've missed the little bits on the bottom of these. Hang on. Sharpen your focus was the fluorite one. Find your natural rhythm was the moonstone one. That's cool. I really like that. I'm really happy for you. I hope you enjoyed this reading and it brings you some comfort if this resonates and you're going through this situation right now. You know, I'm also like very empathetic towards, you know, the person that you leave behind, but everyone's responsible for, you know, finding their own way forwards, aren't they? Like, no one can do it for them. So, right, take care, Libra, and I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to give me a like, share, subscribe, follow, and repost. Support the channel, please. Thank you.